It's a pleasure to meet you all. My name is Jasper. I will be your tour guide for today. And now everyone has noticed this giant hole right here. We call it Solomon's Hole as it's named after Edward Solomon. He was the first gold miner to discover this place back in 1851. And right behind us here is a simplified map of the cavern, everything that we know about so far. Right over here is that original entrance. It drops down around 40 to 45 feet before we hit the bottom. We make our way through a little tunnel of about 20 feet before you drop down a little over 100 into the first chamber here. Right over here is the entrance we will be taking. It was blasted open back in 1920 when this place first became privately owned by Addison Carley. For those of you that are claustrophobic, I want you to stick towards the back so you're not closed in by people and walls. Makes things a lot easier. Right over here, this is called the Noggin Knocker. I will warn you guys when we come up on it. I want you to lean to the left on the way down, lean to the right on the way up. And right over here, this one point is called the touching wall. Now this next comment is very important. Please do not touch the cavern. This cavern is formed by water. Water and oil do not mix. We have a bunch of oils on our hands. So when we take those oily hands, we put on the cave walls. We'll use a small film behind us, kind of like a snail trail. So we don't want to touch these walls because when we touch them, that film then blocks the water from meeting and that kills that formation. We don't want to kill the cave. This is a 10 million year old cave. The reason I say that this is the touching wall and you're okay to touch there is because those formations are already dead. We previously killed them when we first started tours here. We didn't know any better and we touched away, but we know better now, so please no touching beyond that point. Other than that, if you have a hat like me, glasses, a phone, you want to take photos, flash is welcome. Just hold onto your items tightly. If you lose them, I'm afraid you probably won't get them back, and if you do, it will not be in good condition. I hope you folks enjoy and watch your step. Good job making it down, folks. Alright, so for those of you who wish to touch any formations inside the cave, this is that touching wall I mentioned up top. We already previously killed this wall, so you do not need to worry about doing any damage. It's already damaged away. So if you want to touch, please feel free right over here. If you look directly above us, you'll see this kind of bubbly texture on the ceiling. This is called cave coral. It forms at the entrances and exits of caverns due to how the airflow moves through it. So if you ever get lost in a cave for whatever reason, please look for cave coral. It will lead you to your escape.
Pink, do you want to touch it?
No.
Right
No?
over here.
It's okay. This is the one spot where you can't touch.
This is the one spot. It's safe.
You gotta touch.
You don't have to, buddy. But you can if you want to.
Sort of slick,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's easy.
Feels kind of oily almost.
Yeah. Just one finger. Usually you're happy to touch the same thing.
All right, and if you look directly above us, right here, this kind of sparkly point on the ceiling, that's where that original entrance drops down to. You make your way through a little tunnel over to this lip right here before you drop down to the bottom a little over 100 feet. This is the route the gold miners took, and you have to remember they didn't have any of these lovely little lights that we have now. Instead, they had a little candle sticking out from right in front of their face called a sticking Tommy. And now all of these guys, I'm sure you noticed the kind of icicle-looking dudes hanging from the ceiling. These are called stalactites. The way these form is by water seeping through the limestone, grabbing hold of some of that calcite, and taking it out with it, leaving a small portion of it behind. If you take your fingers and pinch them super, super close, it's about 1/16 of an inch. That is how much these guys grow every century. This one right over here, I'm sure you noticed him, is named the Pendulum. He hangs around 50 feet away from this platform. He's 120,000 years old and 14.6 feet big. That is the largest stalactite we have here at Moaning Caverns. Now we are going to be heading down. I take group photos down there at the bottom. If y'all don't want any, that's just fine. We mostly do it for head count as well. No obligation to purchase. Please take your time down the staircase. It's a little spinny, so you'll get a little dizzy. Please look at your left foot if you're scared of heights. And I hope you folks enjoy.
Careful, there's no light here. Careful. Hold it.
I'm going nice and slow. I'm going really slow, guys. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm
What are you scared of? There's nothing to be scared of. You got mom and daddy right here.
Welcome down. Yep. I'll have you and your partner right over here up against this fence. Try to center yourselves on this beam. Stalactite that has been growing the stalagmite for the past 500,000 years.
Wow.
We know their age because we can do something called carbon dating. That, or you can cut them in half and count their rings just like a tree. And this kind of wiggly stuff down here at the bottom, this is called drapery. You'll see a very beautiful example of drapery right up here in the corner. This is called the angel wing. It is 140,000 years old. Right at that sheer part, it's around 3 potato chips thick, and that striping on it is called cave bacon. It comes from the iron deposits in the soil up above. The water washes it down and leaves it with that cool striping effect. Iron is what stains our chocolate waterfall right over here, and in fact, iron stains the majority of this cavern. It does not have its natural color with this part right here. And right behind us, over here in the corner, you will see Darth Vader's helmet. And to its left, you will find our Jaws formation. We'll be forming a column with its little stalactite buddy right up there in around 100,000 years. Well, this dude's got 6 to 7 million years before he meets his builder. If you look directly behind you, you will find something called the leaning wall, this wall that's kind of projecting out at us. I do promise it's stable in its position. It's been this way for the past few hundred years. You can see this big crack. This only happened because of a limestone density difference. Part of the wall was a bit thinner and so it broke away. On the leaning wall, you will see 2 stages of streaking. This is stage 1 of that streaking. Streaking is the beginning stages of that calcite slowly being drawn out of the walls by the rainwater leaking through the limestone. This is stage 2. And that calcite comes from fossils from aquatic dinos from 300 million years ago. And right next to the leaning wall, you'll see stage 3 of that streaking buildup. This is 20 to 30,000 years of it being left completely undisturbed. And right next to that, behind the staircase, you will find a formation we like to call flow rock. But here at Moaning Caverns, we like to refer to this spot as the chocolate waterfall. It looks like something straight out of Willy Wonka. And right down here, these little pits, I know that they look super boring and plain, but they're very important to Moaning Caverns. They are how we received our name when they fill up with just the right amount of water. And the water from the draperies up above drips into it and hits at just the right angle. That is what creates that moaning sound that Moaning Caverns is known for.
Wow.
When you hear it from down here, it sounds really boring, kind of like you just dropped a pebble into a glass of water, just like thump, so super boring. But from up top, it reverberates up off the walls, and it sounds more like a person who's calling out for help because they've been injured. Now, back in the day, the Miwok tribe, now once known as Middle Horizon, now known as Miwok, had a legend for this cavern to keep people away because so many people ended up perishing down here. It was about Yayale or Chalumpche, a rock beast that would moan from beneath the cave, and if you got close enough, he'd snatch you up and eat you. Now, in reality, you would plummet down that 40 to 45 foot hole, travel down that little tunnel, and plummet to the bone pile. We know people have been falling down here for at least 12,500 years, but to the best of our knowledge, no one has fallen down here for at least 500 years. I will point out two bones to you guys, and here this is a calcified bone pile, so it's a mix of both rock, calcite, and bone. Right here where my black spot is at, that is a patella. If you don't know what a patella is, that is a human knee bone. I'll zoom in for you. That round shiny bit is the kneecap sticking out. One more time, right where my black spot is located, that's where I want you guys to keep looking, please. That round shiny bit is the patella. And right up on top, let me trace it over for you guys. This is the femur. If you don't know what a femur is, that is the thigh bone. It is the largest bone in the human body. And now I'm going to take my light off of it. You can see the bone projecting out of the bone pile a lot better. Just keep looking where my black spot's at. You can see that? One more time. One more time, right up on top. That's where I want you to look. Now, there were three main places where the remains ended up inside the cavern. Place number one, for those who died on impact, ended up over here. Place number two is where the majority of the survivors ended up. Sadly, you could actually survive a fall like that, and you'd likely end up over here. This was once a naturally forming body of water, but due to our heavy excavations, we did destroy it. And in efforts to restore the cavern to its former glory, we did replicate the pool of water, but it is no longer safe to drink or play in. The rest of the water in Moaning Caverns, though, is safe to consume, so if anything drops on you, you don't need to worry, it's perfectly safe. And location number 3 is in chamber number 2, right down there. And if you want to see where the majority of the remains ended up, which is in chamber number 2, you would get to go down there for the expedition tour. But before we send you on the expedition tour, because you're put in some pretty awkward situations, we give you a little claustrophobia quest. We send you through this little tunnel right here. It goes for about 10 feet. It stays pretty tight for about 4 to 5 before it opens up, and you pop out this big hole right here. I thought it was kind of like climbing out of a dragon's mouth because the stalactite sitting down there, it's kind of like teeth. It was really cool. If you pass that test, you're then sent around this rope wrapped around the bone pile, down this little tunnel right here. It's about an 8-foot drop and it's pretty slippery, so you're going to hold on nice and tight. I'm afraid it's only for 12 and up. That's our only restriction. It's a little bit of an age restriction. When you get down to the bottom into the second chamber, you're going to want to continue to do a bit of a crab walk because it does continue to slant when you get in there in the beginning. You have one emergency exit. It connects up a little tunnel right through here, and you'd exit right here. Once you pass that emergency exit, though, you have 2 exits you may use, and that is this one right here. This is the easier exit. If you guys are tired and or afraid of heights, I highly suggest using Godzilla's nostril. It's a much easier route to take. Oh, no, we aren't doing this one. It's just for the expedition tour. No. I have to provide you all with gear. There's helmets, a headlamp, which is your only source of light. The rest of the cave is left completely undeveloped. And we can't touch it, so we provide you with gloves and knee pads, elbow pads. Yes. And your second option for exit is Santa's Worst Nightmare, the chimney. It is a 60-foot free climb all the way up through a little tunnel through here. You pop out the top at that little corner over there, crawl across to this little mushroom, get hooked in by your guide, and slide down Wedgie Hill. Wedgie Hill is a lot more fun after a heavy rain. It's more like a super bumpy water slide. Right now it's just really, really unpleasant. You would be. People are a little crazy sometimes. They really want to go check it out. Now I am going to be turning out the lights, and I'm going to leave these candles on for a couple minutes. If you're afraid of the dark, just grab onto your person, not a random one. And if you're scared of any creepy crawlies inside of Moaning Caverns, this cave cannot actually sustain any life, so no reason to panic. We are perfectly safe. If y'all wish to get any photos, videos, you want to walk around, check out the cave with the candles, please feel free. You can come up, grab them, and look around.
This was the only light that the original miners
Oh,
had?
yes. Actually, this right here, I forgot to show you this.
So dark now.
This is the exact tool that the gold miners used when traveling through this cavern. This is called a sticking Tommy. You can see that wide mouth part right there. That's the part that they'd stick in their mouth while traveling down the rope. So they'd be holding it like that in their mouth. So they could use both their hands when they got down to the bottom. That sharp part, they'd poke it into the wall. That, or they'd hang it like this.
What a way to remove your teeth. Also,
Or your eyebrows.
right.
And were they mining for...
They were looking for gold. They did not find any. This is a limestone and marble cavern, so it doesn't have the capabilities to form gold, but they did find their own version of fool's gold down here. In a very iron-rich cave like this, they found thick streakings of iron, and it consistently confused them for gold. They were down here for about 8 months before they ended up giving up.
You see that?
Wow.
Sorry, one more time.
That's, it's called fool's gold. It means it's fake gold.
Fake.
There's water down there. There's water. That's water.
Very cool.
If y'all want to hold the candles, please feel free. I'll leave them lit for a couple minutes, okay?
These are the cathedral lights that he's turned on.
Completed 1922, was built by Albert H. Tangeman, and he is from Stockton, California, so a local. And this whole thing was recycled from a World War I battleship, the USS Maryland. If you want to see a photo of it, it's up in the gift shop next to the checkout counter with a blue background. This whole thing was arc welded here inside of the cavern. If you don't know what that means, it means there's no nuts, bolts, or screws used in the whole thing. It's just one big piece all welded together. There has been some light calcification with some pretty heavy rusting due to the high humidity here inside the cavern, but neither of these factors have compromised its structure. It is still very sound and steady. The last thing I have to talk to you guys about with would be that kind of weird rock mound right back there. You can see it. That is our guest slab tent slash night. It's more of a mix now because it was originally up in the air. It is now on the ground. It's originally from China, a cavern in China, but it was taken apart to be used as concrete. It was mined for concrete. We called it kind of like a rescue mission. Brought him here, and now he is growing and forming with Moaning Caverns water. You can tell he's found at the exit of the cavern due to his bubbly texture. I do not know his age, but I do know he came in the early 2000s, right around the time when Daniel originally bought this place, from Stephen Fairchild, who originally bought this place back in 1978. Other than that, the tour is complete. If y'all have any questions, you have 13 minutes to stay down here, take photos, ask questions, just hang out. If you'd like to start heading up now, you are plenty welcome to do so. I just ask that at that platform, the 65-foot one, up the first staircase, please lean to the right to dodge that knocker. I don't want you smacking your head. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.